Welcome to the next IEN Talk, a very exciting one because we have a new host, me. I'm Basman Sambek, I'm part of IEN Network. And today we'll be talking to Daniel Trauth. You might know him from the Aachen University lab where they did very exciting things on the industrial IoT. Today he will be talking about Senseering, his new startup, and he will be expanding on Spacer, which is quite an interesting venture. Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Bas. Welcome, everybody. Daniel asked me to introduce a little bit the Senseering startup because we started to broadcast some news and some results from Senseering, and that's why this presentation is going to address some topics that we work on using or in Senseering. Most of you will remember the machine in the background on the first slide. It's in the Aachen lab, in the industrial Aachen lab at the Aachen University. And we still are using this machine for our work, also in the Senseering startup, which is strongly tied to the university, but it's completely independent. So we are able to be faster and more agile than with the Aachen lab only. So to set the mood, I know this video is probably lacking, but some of you might know it and others may see it on YouTube because it's already online and it's a couple of years old. But just to get an impression about what we are talking about, such a tool costs about 100,000 euros, and we have equipped it with lots of sensors for forces, for strokes, XTK to MAM, so everything you may know was implemented in the tool. And on that screen you see how we measure the sensors and how we bridge the operational technology, we bridge the shop floor and try to write everything into the IOTA tangle. On that screen you see the raw footage, the raw data, which makes it very difficult because we have high data streams and high data volumes like gigabits per second and terabytes per day. So it's way more complicated in bridging operational technologies like our fine tool machine and the information technology. On the web page from back in the days, you saw for every workpiece that we manufactured, you saw a digital twin in the line, and by clicking on a green button, you can buy that digital twin or the information for the digital twin. And it was kept really simple, just using the Trinity app, scanning the QR code, and sending some IOTAs to IOTA, a full node. And once the transmission is succeeded, the proof of work is done, the transmission completed, you get access to the digital twin. The information is revealed. And back in the days, that was quite an innovative prototype, an innovative project that no one did before. And one of the problems was that also no one understood it. So our mission was, in the time in between, that we use that prototype to talk to industries. Different industries, different sectors, different branches, different people, and we did it for 2 years. What we did was we kind of provoked them by asking them the questions why they don't want such a solution in their shop floor. But it was not like a bad provocation, it was more like an inspiration and motivation to follow us on that journey. And we kind of succeeded because over 60 companies visited the Aachen lab, and they brought over 400 experts with them. So they all did a business trip, they all did travel to Aachen, and we could talk to every one of them. And what we then did was kind of a market analysis because we try to classify them into early adopters, probably, or approximately 20% of them were early adopters. So they already wanted to work with us, even though we didn't even have a product. It was just a prototype, but they saw more in the solutions than it was. On the other side, 45% said, okay, they can see the way how this might in the future be useful, but right now they didn't want to get into this topic because they were kind of waiting for a better solution. And 32% said, nope, no way, we're never going to use such a solution, no blockchain, no AI, no digitization in manufacturing, for, I don't know, just some reasons why they didn't see any advantage or any use for a blockchain or IOTA in their manufacturing. And still another number, approximately 40% of them were in middle or top management, so they could decide to work with us, or they could decide how to use it in their own company. But just to let you guys know that there were approximately 40% from management. So, and what we did was we listened to them, we listened to their concerns, we listened to their journeys, to their visions, to their products, to their businesses, and tried to come up with a master plan. And the master plan consists of addressing their major pain points. And we figured out that they might have 4 pain points. And the first of which I'm going to talk is data acquisition. If you're remembering the video from the beginning, it's pretty obvious that the operational technology like manufacturing or physical industries, you just can't get a data because you want it. You have to buy sensors, you have to equip the tools, machine, everything with sensors, and you need a strategy to combine the data streams, to transform the data streams, to clear the data streams. And that's just a competence that manufacturing companies don't have, and they don't want it to have, because they have a clear focus. They are manufacturing, I don't know, tires or metal products, and we can't transform them to an IT company so that they are the best data acquisition company tomorrow, because they're just not. They are manufacturers for, I don't know, ABC. And so we have to treat them also as a manufacturing company that manufactures ABC, and it doesn't have the strongest expertise in data acquisition. But still, if we were able, or if a company is able to extract data from the machines, then they mostly don't know what to do with the data. The value is unclear, and it's kind of logic, because that is kind of a disrupting thing for a manufacturing company to transform from a manufacturer of ABC to kind of digital twins and digital shadows and data sets, AI, blockchain. That's kind of disrupting and disruptive and completely new for such a company. So they have the problem that they don't know what their data is worth. And now it's a situation, if you're not able to tell your management what the data is worth, the management will not accept any projects working on the data value. And if you're not working on the data value, you're never going to know what the data is worth. So that's kind of a circle where you're stuck in the middle, because it's getting difficult and more difficult to extract the value of your data, even if you're not starting working on it. But let's assume you would knew which data you want to transform, build an AI, and use it for your manufacturing process. You probably lack people. The AI experts or machine learning experts, it doesn't matter if it's deep learning expert, you just lack people. So this is another huge problem for manufacturing industries, because without people, you won't achieve any results, and so you again can't convince your management, and you can't convince any other stakeholders to invest more and more in digital technologies, but you have to, because without you won't have big issues in the years to come, because probably you won't be competitive with other countries. And the last topic, the last pain point, is incentives. People just don't know, or manufacturing companies just don't know why they should do it. And digitization is more than just acquiring data using an AI algorithm to optimize manufacturing process. It's also about sharing data. And sharing data in Germany is a big topic because, you know, GDPR, everyone fears data lags or the misuse of his data. So we came up with a plan that we need to provide incentives for companies so that they are willing to share the data, because if you want to build a freaking good AI, you also need a lot of data, and you need more data than your machine already has. Remembering the video at the beginning, there are at least 7 to 10 stakeholders involved in such a machine, providing lubrication, material, tools, results, labs, a lot of stakeholders. And if they are not willing to contribute into a digital data lines or a digital team, you probably won't be able to build a good AI that's optimizing manufacturing process. So you need incentives for each one of them that he's willing to provide his data. So we came up with a 5-step solution framework. Nothing fancy, just to make a plan how we can address the 4 major pain points. And we can summarize the solution framework using 2 monetization strategies. So monetizing means not only selling data like a resource, it also means any operation that uses data that improves manufacturing process, like optimizing time, reducing costs, improving quality. So monetizing is more than just selling data to a third party. However, if you use common literature to analyze the monetizing strategies, you will probably stumble across 2 numbers. The ECHO Association is located in Germany, in Cologne, and it's one of the biggest in Germany that analyzes economical effects using internet technologies or internet standards. And they came up with 2 numbers. The first number is 330 billion euro for optimization strategy, which is the first one. And this is nothing special. This is what we always did in manufacturing, trying to improve the quality, trying to reduce the time, trying to reduce costs. And but still, it is a huge market. So if we will be able to convince them in using digital technologies, we probably could have a share of that market. However, this is also the market who's going to disappear in some day, because it's going to be more and more difficult to reduce costs, to improve quality, and to improve time. So you need new technologies, or probably new technologies will arise that will outperform older technologies. So the second strategy, the transformation, rethinking the process, rethinking the product, rethinking the identity of a company, is probably going to be the next strategy companies have to focus on. And this number is smaller. It's only 150 billion euros for Germany alone. But remember, there's an entire globe, so there's a much bigger market than only in Germany. But this is the markets arising. Now we are already talking about some future business models and monetizing using blockchain or IOTA in our case. But still, we are not yet there. So we have to keep that in mind. But for nowadays, strategy 1 is the one to go, and trying to convince manufacturing industries to invest in digital technologies. So to address the markets and to address the problems, we tried to come up with a portfolio. And this portfolio we did invent or did develop in the Senseering, because we need to be agile and respond to the customers' tasks and needs. So the first is to address the data acquisition problem. It's not our strongest suit, but the Edgebox tries to simplify the data acquisition process for manufacturing industries. You can think of the Edgebox like a plug-and-play solution, like the XDK to MEM. You just plug it onto the machine, and it does its magic for most of the common standards. Sure, there are special manufacturing technologies where a Edgebox won't work, but still, these are special tasks, and they need special attention, and they need special solutions. They would also need a special attention if there wasn't an Edgebox. So the Edgebox is 80% digitization box, trying to reveal or to allow the manufacturing industry to digitize their machines. So on an Edgebox or on any other measuring device or any other computer edge device, you can run our AI Manager software. That's kind of an out-of-the-box dashboarding or AI tool. Again, not for these super-duper mega special tasks. It's for 80% of recurring problems that manufacturing companies have. It doesn't matter if it's metal producing or it's plastics or medical or anything else. Most of them will have the same issues in a very similar way. So if you provide a, let's say, out-of-the-box dashboarding, you can probably help most of them to turn their data in some kind of value. So, but the biggest issue still is that if you're only working on the data sets you have, you won't build any cool AI, because what you already have is what you already know. So you need access to data from different stakeholders, from supply chains, from supplier, from clients, from customers, whatever. So we came up with the My Data Economy, which is supposed to be kind of a data marketplace or a search that finds participants using the Senseering data network to share and provide their data sets for others, so that you can build a freaking good AI using the data sets from difference. And therefore, because the data set is owned by someone differently than yours, you need incentives. So you are paying him for his data set, or you are providing some fees or shares if you make money out of his data set. That's the front office, if you want. And in the back end or in the background, we have our edge computing infrastructure, we have our cloud computing infrastructure, we have our IOTA Tangle, who makes every exchange and every event super safe, and so we don't have to fear any misuse or any problem with data exchanging. So if I had to put it into one sentence, I would say that Senseering aims to be kind of a decentralized data network or data marketplace, where edge devices can exchange data between other edge devices participating in the data network. And the objective is that the data exchange itself should promote the invention or the development of a better AI for any other task. So, and like I said, the IOTA Tangle allows us with the common known benefits like immutability, traceability, data integrity. So that it's not just a database system trying to exchange data, it's completely backed by the IOTA Tangle. So let's have a look at an older version of the AI Manager for a condition monitoring use case. You will probably remember the machine in the picture-in-picture video in the bottom. This time we are measuring the stroke of the workpiece for the first reason to count how many parts we're manufacturing. For the second reason, to correlate the wear of the tools to the manufacturing outcome. So, and once you have any kind of an idea what you want to do, like plot some diagrams, you can just choose from the available data sets some kind of a diagram to get really fast visualizations of hidden data streams that the machine produces with some standard statistics, because it doesn't always have to be a freaking good AI. Sometimes statistics already does the job, like fast Fourier transformation to analyze the wear of the tools or to get an impression about predictive maintenance conditions from machines or whatsoever. So if you take this alone, I know there are lots of solutions out there who will also do a condition monitoring tool set. But if you remember where we're coming from, that we are coming from a very heavy industry shop floor where this is just not available. So the idea was to provide the machine operator, to provide supervisors or even shop floor managers a quick possibility to have an overview over the machines, have an overview over the condition monitoring, the predictive maintenance dates, and make them or provide them with a tool to perform a better management over their assets. And like I said, in the background, we are using the IOTA Tangle to secure everything that we are doing. Every data set, every data point that is logged into the AI manager is automatically written into the IOTA Tangle and can be traced using any MUM decoder nowadays, Stream decoder, or any other Tangle Explorer to make sure make sure that the data integrity is still live, still intact. The next use case is that condition monitoring is one way to do it, but mostly you're interested in things that you have to calculate. You have to do advanced analytics on your data sets. You have to combine, find correlations, or find causes for failures or anything other disruptions. So we also implemented a Jupyter Notebook in our AI manager, so where every data stream that's coming to a AI manager is made automatically available, so you can instantly correlate different data streams from different stakeholders by a click of a mouse to correlate, I don't know, forces, waves, or whatever the outcome with the weather or any other disruptions, to come up with a more resilient process, to come up with a more stable process, or just to come up with new ideas that will probably improve your manufacturing outcome in the future. So last step is the My Data Economy, the search. Sorry for the German wording, but in that case we were looking for some water consumption in Germany, and if you just type in that you're looking for water, you will be offered every sensor that's available in our network that provides you with the water information. And then you can buy the data set from the past or from the future. You will probably remember the Trinity app. So it's the same like before. There's a generation of QR code, putting a price tag on the data set. And once you've paid, you will be able to download the data set or to move it from the other edge device to your edge device. And the funny thing is that moving from one edge device to another edge device is done by a click of a mouse. You probably have to wait until the payment is done, and then we can show you that it just isn't a big thing to move data from one edge device to another edge device. So payment is done. And now we can download the JSON file or any other file for Excel or whatever the company is going to use. Nothing fancy. So, but the cool thing now is that if you're buying a data set from Argentina or Brazil or whatever, you click on that mouse button and it's done. Now you have your data sets, it's on the upper left, and the water information just pops up in your AI manager, and you will now able to correlate a data set that you haven't had before with your own data sets just by the click of a mouse. That's basically what we are doing in Senseering, and we are still focusing on our presentation for the Aachen WZL Colloquium. It's one of the biggest conferences on production technology, production engineering in Germany. Unfortunately, because this year's it was postponed until 2021, but we are still aiming to present there one of our biggest or one of the most advanced monetizing strategies, general prototype in 2021. Now, that's probably enough about Senseering. Now, Bas also talked about the Spacer project, and now I think I have to reshare my screen. Sorry for that, didn't think about it. So, you should see my screen again, is that right? Okay, no one complains. So what's Spacer? Spacer is one of the biggest production engineering projects in Germany, aiming at a resilient management for manufacturing industries, like I showed in the video before. It stands for Scalable Adaptive Production System through AI-based resilience optimization. And if you remember the machine in the video, and if you remember the Spacer, my data economy platform, you will really fast realize that if you're trying to build a resilient management system with a lot of stakeholders in your supply chain, or with the weather, or with the state, or with the customer, you have to exchange data sets, and that's why we are aiming of providing a kind of a backbone for these Spacer projects, where all the partners will be able to share their data in our data platform to build an AI based on, I don't know, different kind of projects, different kind of use cases, and different kind of problems. We tried to come up with a couple of use cases to get things started. So if you want to read about the use case one, it's called self-optimization, but it's exactly what I showed in the presentation. You have a manufacturing machine and you want to optimize that machine, reduce costs, improve time, or improve quality. But this time, not using your mind or using your hand, about using an AI. And for that AI, you need data, and for data, you need incentives, because no one is giving you your data for free. And then we have different use cases trying to make the entire resilience management broader and bigger, like planning problems or like knowledge transfer. If you have a manufacturing machine A and a manufacturing machine B, and they make probably the same thing, but it's not identically the same. So you can transfer knowledge digitally from one machine to another and make the complete production engineering supply chain, or the complete shop floor kind of autonomous, kind of more intelligent and more smarter. And proactive transformation is the last step, where we are aiming at identifying problems in the manufacturing process before it even occurs. So that's kind of what AI always does, but if you remember how the heavy industries that we're working on, it's a very, very difficult way to go, and that's why this is use case 4. Spacer is not limited to these use cases. It's just that we want to motivate people by presenting them or providing 4 different use cases. Like you may have also seen in the project consortium that we have a lot of partners from all over Germany, some of them also around the world, who have different stakes in the project. We have manufacturers, we have suppliers, we have users, we have IT companies like Microsoft, Dell, we have logistics, we have car manufacturers, everyone has a different point of view on resilience management, but everyone is working towards that goal. So even though I focused on fine blanking or I focused on the Aachen lab, this is a national project which is bigger than everything that I just showed you in my presentation. So if you want to somehow support any of these partners, you just can contact them and provide them with whatever you're going to have for them or what you're trying to think of. So that's Spacer. Just maybe another number. It's been funded by the Federal Ministry of Economic and Affairs and Energy. It's BMWI, and it's one of the biggest funding partner for universities or also for industries. And they funded us with approximately 10 million euros. So that's a big project, and we're very proud of the team and everyone that's involved in the project. But yeah, give us a couple of years till 2023, then we will provide you with some freaking good results. And boss, if you want, you can take over. I more or less my presentation about Senseering and Spacer, and I'm happy to receive your questions. So I'm probably going to stop my presentation now. Thank you.
Try and keep a bit of distance from the microphone. Sometimes we get a bit of noise on the line.
Okay.
Thank you. Really good presentation. I've always loved the granular control that your project gives over quality assurance and maintenance. You can really pinpoint where the errors are and correct them. So it should be cheaper and more reliable. And I love that Senseering. But what I think is good is it solves 80% of current manufacturers' problems. So that is really nice. It's such a generic product that you can just roll out. The question though, you had 19% early adopters that were aching to use a product that wasn't there. How do you deal with that enthusiasm versus the reality of not having a project, and it might even take a few years to be able to deliver that?
It's very difficult because we can't handle early adopters, because we can't roll out a product that isn't there, and we can't rebuild everything we've built on the Aachen lab just in their lab for free. So there wasn't a really cool way to work with them, and we're trying to integrate them in projects like Spacer. Mm-hmm. So some of the early adopters, you find them on the Spacer project, but that's why we came up also with the Senseering company, where we are more able to address company needs than with the university Aachen lab.
Cool. The Senseering right now is about current practice, to my mind. But I want to ask about the change in the industry that you see coming. How do you see not just Senseering, but distributed ledgers in a broader sense affecting the industry and change it from within?
Yeah, that's a good question. The way we use a distributed ledger is that we use it as an entire backbone to provide trust and integrity and tamper-proofness. So for our industry, we can't use a distributed ledger only as a database, because it isn't fast enough. We have that problem that we need to compute at the edge, that we have high data volumes, high data rates. So in my opinion, it's never a question DLT only, edge only, cloud only is always a question about how these three technologies are used in one solution. So there will never be, in my opinion, a DLT only use case. Always combined with some kind of cloud or edge computing infrastructure.
But also a bigger picture, how will it change industry? Because of course, everybody's thinking about IoT as your home automation and your smartphone, or you talking to your fridge. I don't know why they would talk, but the reality is that IoT will be in the industry, in the agriculture, in mining, in all the unsexy things that we don't see in daily life. But how do you see it change the industry itself, apart from being automated?
I don't know when this is going to happen, but nowadays is that manufacturing companies are recognized by building a physical product, like you're building a car or you're building, I don't know, a metal part, and you're the best in metal part manufacturing, you're the best in car manufacturing. But in the future, I believe that these won't be the values that customers look for. They no longer look for the best car or the best quality or the cheapest product. They look for solution providers, for services, for a new way of using things compared to the day today. So that's what I meant with transformation of a manufacturing company. It's no longer about optimization strategies, making a product better or cheaper. It's about completely new ways of using a technology. Like, I don't know, use a fine blanking machine like you use a car sharing car, or like, I don't know, just rent a tool like you rent a movie using Netflix. It's about flexibility. It's about new ways of using the same things.
Interesting. We have some questions from the viewers.
Okay.
I'm going to switch to the questions and look for the first question. People looking forward to learning more. Ben Royce is asking, what are some concerns, issues, criticism that you encounter with potential clients when you consider adoption paths to data monetization?
The biggest concern in my experience is that they don't have an own strategy for themselves. They just don't know. They don't know what they want to do with data sets or with data in itself. So it's a big issue for us to tell them what they might be able to do with data if they don't have an own strategy in using data sets. So most times when I talk to them, they aren't excited about data itself, or they are never excited about the use of data. They are more or less feared that others will be better in the future in what they do, because they might be able to use the data differently than they do. So I don't know if that's a satisfying response to that question, but I honestly can't tell what excites them because I haven't experienced any who said, cool, data monetization, I'm going in for it. Most of them just said, I don't want to talk about it. I want to manufacture my billions of parts cheaper, faster, and from better quality. So ask me in a couple of months, please.
That's basically what Senseering is about, taking that part away from the manufacturers and not bothering them too much with the technical details. Or at least that's what I got from your story. Yes, Ben's follow-up question, what excites them? We don't know. Then we're looking for the next one. When the product of Senseering, Edgebox AI Manager network already for use from potential customers? When are the projects ready, Daniel?
Yes, if everything works out like I planned, by end of the year.
Okay.
So that's a short question, short answer.
Today we've had some problems in the community with strict data and not delivering. And what about reporting that can share with other companies? Is there still a use case for your product?
Yes, absolutely. We are already implementing a feature that puts you in the position to hide your data set. So if you're a member of the My Data Economy, you're not forced to show everyone in the world your data sets. You can hide it. I don't know if that makes it's a perfect use case, but if you really have data that is not allowed to share, you don't have to. You just mark it as or flag it as confidential, and it won't be seen by any others. You still can share it with a specific third party or specific client, but you don't have to put it publicly available.
Well, there's a follow-up question from Katie Neuschwander. Can you share your data anonymously? So is that possible to share your data that you don't want connected to you with someone else without them tracing it back to you?
Currently not, no. Because if you remember a little bit, or if you remember the machine I showed, the platform is intended for a community or for people who have the same interest in improving a supply chain or in improving a product or improving a process. So most times they trust in the data set also when they know where it's coming from. And I don't think that My Data Economy should be another darknet or another file sharing network where you can use some usernames and nobody knows who you are. As it is intended for a B2B community, so you probably want to know if you buy from, I don't know, from Bosch, or if you buy from BMW, or if you buy from an anonymous username.
Okay, yeah. Robert Hester has a question. Have you spoken to utilities regarding optimization? I would think that nuclear power plants would be keen to reduce outages and have many existing sensors for integration.
Yes, I have, indeed. And it was also a nuclear power plant, or a supplier for nuclear material, but they still owe me a response. They haven't responded yet, so but they reached out and I answered, but now they I don't know, haven't responded.
Sometimes it takes a while. Dennis, he had a question earlier, but he rephrased it. Do you see a solution where a shortage of AI or machine learning specialists can be filled with decentralized AI or machine learning trainers to train data on Tango?
It's interesting. One of the reasons why we invented the My Data Economy platform is the idea or the thinking that when a company can't hire all experts they need so that they can build AI ML in their own company, they still can sell or provide their data sets to the entire world, where lots of data experts are located in any place in the world. So it's kind of a different point of view on working with data experts. You don't own a data expert in the future. Maybe you just sell your data to him and he provides you with a solution, with an algorithm. He sells you the algorithm back and you implement the solution in your manufacturing machine or whatever. So that was our intention of providing also a data exchange functionality, so you don't have to own the data expert. But the idea of train on the Tangle. I think I have to. I need to think about it, but we can talk about this afterwards. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Yeah.
Well, I've always thought that data marketplaces in themselves are not useful on their own, because you need a good model and a reliable model to make sense of the data, a good regression analysis to start with, and perhaps a data model marketplace could also be part of consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that can solve the lack of AI and data.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point.
Cool. We are out of questions. If anybody has a question still, please ask in the next 10 seconds, or we'll have to wrap up.
Cool.
I don't see anyone typing as of now, so we'll wrap up. Thank you very much for a lovely presentation. Really happy to see that there's other people working on the data problem outside of IoT Foundation. And I really like that you found a rather optimal approach, getting a lot of people get into optimizing their production without too much foreign knowledge. Is there anything you want to say to our audience before we leave?
Sure. If anyone has questions that he didn't want to ask today or now, most of you know me. You can write me on Discord or Twitter or LinkedIn or an email or whatsoever, so we can get in touch afterwards and talk about your ideas or your I don't know, your criticism. So I'm open for anything, and thank you for your attention. It was really nice talking to you virtually, but yes, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for your time. It's always nice to have people who are actually working on adoption of IoT come to us and share their knowledge through our IEN Talks. I don't know which IEN Talk is next, but we'll be presenting that shortly on our channels. I hope to see you next time. And for now, I wish you a good night or a good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.